in a theatre and spend that kind of time. We also need to remember that gone are the days where there was only one form of entertainment. Now there are multiple forms of entertainment, right from getting the youngsters to get out of their homes because they're playing games there, and that is also a form of entertainment. We have sports, which is a huge form of entertainment, and
so you're competing with a lot of other things for attention.
Thanks to our country, who is like kind of like really getting into the whole idea of sports and sports viewing, and so much is happening. It was just not cricket. Now there's football also, and there is Olympics also, and there's women cricket team also. So everything is a form of entertainment. Plus there are amazing restaurants, and plus there are lots of malls. So when there are lots of malls, what do? What's a pattern? The pattern is that you go to a mall, you will shop a bit, then you need to go and have dinner, and then you might go and watch a movie, and then go have dinner. And then there's a gaming zone in the mall also. Plus you have to adhere to the traffic.
So it's hard.
It's hard. Plus you have work. So imagine and the decision makers, for me, I do feel, I may be completely wrong in my assessment, but I do feel that the younger audience are the decision makers of the house. Like they will quickly tell us, जाना है कि नहीं जाना है, ये इसको बाद में देखना.
Shoojit,
what were you asking? OTT versus...
And to add, we also have the reels which people need to make. And that also
I was going to come to that.
And the form of entertainment, plus the food reels which people see, plus the memes which people... So basically there's so much to see.
And make a mental note to come back to reels, but Shoojit, over to you.
I think if you particularly talk about cinema, I think it's a very subjective thing. It depends on, for some people, they need to watch everything every day. For some people, it's just a Friday, Saturday and Sunday. For some people, one film, I'm talking about myself, if I have seen a film, I need to soak in that film for some time. I can't watch a film right now, and I choose my films, and I watch that film, and I really want to soak in there, and I want to stay with that film for maybe weeks, maybe months. I will not touch any other film during that time, just that I have to watch, because I need to live with it. So there are many patterns of audience. So I am also an audience in that sense. But as she said that there are many other forms of entertainment, there might be. But I think for filmmakers like me, we also need to decide where I am, what I am making. All my films were meant to be cinematic, to be for cinema, for a community viewing. That's what I have grown with. But last two of my films went straight into OTT. But then when it went straight into OTT, Sadar Udham and Gulabu Sitapu, what I saw a difference that it reached so many people through OTT, which was not in the case when it was just releasing otherwise in the theatre, right? So I got that exposure to that. So when I am making a film, I first, as I said, I'm then making a film. I don't decide where I am going to put it out. So far I have not been able to. But if the choice comes, in future that I have to take a decision that where it might go, I've experienced both now. So it'll all depend where I am. But every film has got, mostly people make for a cinematic experience. So that experience is, I think, a must for a filmmaker to experience. If not, then definitely OTT is there to fall back.
I think for an industry that celebrates success, you all have managed to hold on to your authentic voice. Is that a challenge? Is that your stubborn conviction that you don't want to change, or it is never threatened? It's never threatened with the medium.
So I'll give you some examples on this. I've been lucky that some of my films where I started with an independent thought, but some really good populist actors agreed to work on it. Then I molded myself into a little populist zone somewhere in the crossroad, what you call. So that happened with Piku and everything else. But I started as an independent film because I've grown up watching them. Now, what happens is that that challenge is always there in every film that you make. It's not that I've made Piku and then I didn't have a trouble making October. I had. So you make October, then you again face a trouble making Sadhadu. So that choice and difficulty is always there to make. Nothing decides. Your film this Friday does not decide that the next Friday what's you're going to be. It's going to be a difficult choice anyway.
Now, with your emotional intelligence that comes through with the projects that you make, you also, are so methodical and so sorted with how you plan things. So Shoojit says he's never thought about where, which medium when he wants to make a film. Is that the case with you as well?
So, when we made Nirja, I was told, Ram, ये है ना 4-quadrant picture है. So I said, यार ये 4-quadrant क्या होता है? Because then I was told it's young, old, male, female. Then they said, ये क्या है? ये कांदिवली से कोलाबा picture है. So I said, अच्छा कांदिवली से कोलाबा है. Then I got started into this kind of conversation, and now I'm saying कि I have my own phrase which says मैं मौसा जी के लिए बनाऊंगा और क्लासा जी के लिए भी. मौसा जी and क्लासा जी. So now I want to reach out desperately. Okay, I like it when people like my work. I don't like it when they don't like my work. My self-worth is dependent entirely on how good you think I am. So am I good? No, you're bad. Why am I bad? Because you told me I'm bad. Acha, then, in this business, if I make something that I like but you didn't like it, or 99% of people didn't like it, does that make my work bad? And we're in the business of wanting validation. And that validation sometimes is commercial, sometimes is critical. And out of the 4 kinds of successes that there are, which is, let's say, you get commercial success, which is financial, critical success, personal success, and let's say that you get something which is not necessarily commercial. I mean, you get commercial, but you don't get, it's not something that you wanted to make, but still, wow, this is a hit. Okay. I think all of us have managed, actually, at our best work, we have managed these 4 successes. It's because of that reputation that we are sitting here today. And it is because we've also managed our own failures or work that didn't quite reach out. But I feel bad when people don't like my work. I want you to like it.
I'm sure that there are many days when you feel that, because that's true.
I think we're all in the business of trying to make our own work and yet try and see how you like it.
Yeah.
I think because we come from advertising and we respect advertising in some ways. We all believe that that is where we began to respect the audience. So.
Rahul, you have had such an interesting journey. Your background in brand building, done distribution, production. Everybody here is speaking about how they want to reach the right audience. They want their work to reach the audience. His self-worth is dependent on how much they like what they make.
Yeah, like I keep saying, is the measure of my worth that I went for a walk, or is the measure of my worth the work that I do?
So how important is then not just finding the right audience, but to be able to market your film in a way that people take notice? Is that something that now, do filmmakers now need to think like entrepreneurs, where they also have to understand the business side of how things work?
See, I think cinema is, as we all know, is 50% creativity and 50% business. So, and the balance of that is something that all of us aspire for. Marrying good content to box office success. That's the mantra which everybody looks for.
Otherwise, you don't get to make your next film.
Yes, exactly.
It's as simple as that. You're dead.
Yes. What do? I try to make good content and marry. So these are the 2 things. Like I said earlier, I think the positioning and the communication is important. But before that, उसको भी मैं आगे की स्टेज मानता हूँ. सबसे पहले तो I think your material, I don't like to use this word, but the material is very, very important.
Content.
Is the content. And then after that, what you call that content. So I think if you can, in a one line, explain to people, I'll give a small example. I'm just going back to my first film, but this really worked for me. If I would have told guys in 2011 is when Sai Baby Gangster came, that कि जी मैं एक film बना रहा हूँ जो, you know, which is about some guy and his wife runs away with the driver. People would have said, this guy's gone mad. So I just said that this is an ode to Sai Bibi or Ghulam, one of my favorite films, and the title was Sai Bibi or Gangster. So I think that worked, and the trailer worked, and then of course the content worked. So I think everything is important, but primarily just because you package something well and then only because of that it'll do well, in the long run I don't believe that. So the content has to be great, and of course after that the communication, all your marketing units have to be good. We have instances where some of the films have been great, but then the trailer was, you know, people saw the trailer and said, ye kya hai? And then later on, by the time they realized that the film is actually good, I think too much of time was wasted and the movie went away. And then later on, when we saw it on OTT or later on, maybe the second release, there are a few instances like that. So I think it is important that the title of the film, the positioning, how you market it, and that is where what Shoojit said, going to the right cinema. I think choosing your territories and choosing how many screens there and also that's an entire distribution kind of thing, which helps in reaching out to the audience and in distributing the film well. But marketing and the first teaser is the most important thing about it. Because that's where the audience decides whether they want to or don't want to watch the film.
Right. You know, I would just like to ask the FICCI team if we have more time, because I see time's up. Do I have time? Because I have a few more questions. Or should we wrap up? We can? Okay. You know, so the one thing I want to talk about is... yeah.
That's a gravestone over there. It says time's up. There's a dead body below it.
You know, you're all here with creative persons. I want to understand, how much does the word AI scare you? Is it something that aids you in your creative process? Is this something that you will fight and resist? Where do you guys stand?
I'm going to go and say first, I've just done a virtual reality experience on AI, which is a 5-minute short film on Bhagavad Gita, which was done on AI because in this attention deficit economy, what better way but for you to immerse yourself in a VR experience. And at Madhvani Films and Equinox, we are embracing it, okay? Because I'm finding it useful. And to me, it's just another technology. And at some point, I'm hoping that we'll get an AI sentient being on stage with us. Who will be then talking about how is it that you humans, you know, and therefore, and then we'll become, instead of racists, we'll become specious. That we don't like the species.
I think there's a short film idea right there. But,
yeah, there's a film there.
On AI, I think enough has been said. You know, a lot of discussions are already on the platform and everywhere. So nothing to add
we
there.
have no choice but to
Nothing to add there. I mean, it's as whatever he said, it's he's embracing it. So we all, I mean, you know, seeing where we
An
can
option.
find it. Yeah.
Right. You know, the internet was the first time when we said, oh, what is the internet? Now 25 years later, whatever, everybody's saying, oh, what is AI?
Yeah, I think it's a matter of getting used to it. So,
to move with the times and stay up.
I think coexistence will be an important part of AI and AI. I'm also AI. So AI and AI has to coexist. But the one thing which I do know is that technology has always been a part of our lives from the longest time. Whether it's
In fact, you know, the root word of the word technology is from techne, which means art. It's a Greek
Yeah.
word. Techne means art.
Yeah.
So we better embrace it.
Yeah, so it is about how, it's not about it's there now, it's going to happen. It's about how we embrace it, coexist with it, and how do we know how to use it. The most important thing is to how to use it in the right way for us to coexist with it. So if I can use AI to help me visualize something which I cannot go and shoot at that point of time. There was a time when we used to illustrate that, right? We used to storyboard it. We used to storyboard it because we needed to show that this is how it can happen. But now, instead of storyboarding, which we do the same thing, but instead of drawing, we do it in AI. But in doing it in AI also, you need illustrators and artists to put the right command and to understand shade and light and to understand how things will move, to understand camera work.
Or they're called prompt engineers.
Prompt
Yeah.
engineers,
To
right?
have the right
So
prompt.
to have the right prompt. So if it is about how to use it in the right way. But the one thing which I'm not sure, and I think Sujita and I had this discussion when we were in Australia, in Sydney, Melbourne, sorry, was that as a filmmaker, as a storyteller, I have a voice. I forget everything else, but when the character and the director is standing in front, it is like me talking to you, and there is something called an emotion, there's something called taking out an emotion. That it's like looking at a photograph and feeling whether there is a photograph of rain and imagining the fragrance of rain. Will AI be able to do that is my big question mark. Maybe a few years later, but for the moment, I'm happy that one thing which maybe is still strong with me is taking out performances and taking out emotions out of characters, or out of actors. If that also can be automated, but how much can it be?
The only thing is that on AI, the ethics and the legalities, that's going to take a lot of time. It's going to be a recalibration. मुझे लगता है legalities will be very difficult to figure out. It will be individual and subjective basis पे होगा, because it can't be general legalities हो नहीं सकता उस पे.
And I'm also very happy that platforms do take a stance, like when we're presenting things or even when we are presenting our ideas. The criteria is that directors cannot use AI to showcase look, feel and everything. So you can show photographic images or something, but not to use AI. So I think that's a good step to understand, because it's not, we are almost clashing with our own ideas there. So where is my idea as a maker?
Yes, Shoojit.
Yeah, just one thing I wanted to tell, I just remembered, I was talking 3-4 days back, because this is a good platform, FICCI, and we are talking about how to get the audience in and make them watch films. So when I passed out of college and struggling, in Kolkata, there were cinema theaters like Empire and Globe. So in the lobby, they had a bar. So I would go in, take one drink, into the theater, watch the film. In the interval, I come out, another drink. I go see the second half, come back, another drink, and discussing the film, we go back home. So I think in FICCI, I tell them, please get a bar in the film lobby.
See, so this is. I was going to say that's what AI can't do.
It's going to take a minute, because you have been like, I've met you on so many occasions. Like the one thing which you were asking Ram and Sujita is like, what excites you most because we have been thriving for so many years, is that even if I talk to you, and the first thing is like your smile and your thing, कि यार तेरी film आ रही है, मैं ज़रूर देखूँगी. That's what keeps us going in the sense that we all have a unique voice. So we may go wrong, we may be right, but we still have a unique voice. And each of the directors who are there have a unique voice, and they come with that voice. So next time you hear, okay, Ash, to kya bana rahi hai? And when I say, okay, fine, there's a film coming up, you're at least looking forward to it. And that is the validation I think we all seek for.
On that note, time's up. We'll end the session. You guys have been a lovely audience. And thanks to Shoojit, we actually end on a high note.
I know. No, thank you, Stutee. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for all your interest and questions.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, all the panelists. This session truly has been a masterclass on filmmaking,